Where did the jrpg and the Western RPG diverge? Well, the answer is Western RPGs. Believe it or not, the jrpg was emulating an American-made RPG called Wizardry. Rudimentary systems of this game were basically mashed up with other genres of games like visual novels, and the style kind of evolved from there. And you can actually see the visual novel influence when you look at, say, Dragon Quest. Because the battle windows where you see your enemy face on and you're choosing an option from a menu, that's literally the same as visual novel adventure games that came before it. The RPGs largely treated their narrative like it was a play and you were an actor in it. While they sometimes gave you a little bit of choice, mostly you were there to just follow the story on rails to its end. You the player were watching a story unfold. Western RPGs take their cues more from tabletop role-playing games, which took their cues from war games. In all these games, there is an emphasis on player choice, and that's why you see the standard American RPG style of creating a character and controlling them as you customize them and wander through an open world. In general, JRPGs focus more on the overall story, whereas Western RPGs tended to focus on the individual protagonist character. Which is interesting because Scott McCloud in Understanding Comics says that that's also the difference between Western comics and manga. Manga tends to focus on situation, storyline, and setting, whereas American comics and other Western comics focus hard on character. It's just interesting that we see that difference narratively in the difference between anime and cartoons and the difference between manga and comics, but we also see it mechanically in the difference between JRPGs and Western RPGs. But again, that is a style. If a studio in Canada creates an RPG that focuses on overall narratives and lets you control a party, and it's usually pretty linear and so on and so forth. If they make something that's JRPG style, that is a JRPG even if you're making it in Canada. And similarly, if a Japanese studio makes a really heavily character-focused open-world RPG, we would not call that a JRPG. That's part of why we don't call, the Souls games and Elden Rings JRPGs, you know what I mean?